EduTech Guys present a conversation from our live coverage of FETC in Orlando, Florida on Wednesday, January 24th, 2018. Enjoy the program.
Okay, well, hello, I'm Sandi Mahl Smith. I'm from Columbus, Indiana. I work with the Patents Project in Indiana, and I'm here loving the weather today. I heard back home it snowed.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody, it's for the children. I always say it's for the children.
So you're at FETC, so what are you doing here?
We work mostly with assistive technology for students, but we work through a universal design for education framework, whereas everybody's different in your classroom. There's no one average student. So we go through it that way. And so I like to come out here to FETC and see what's new and what's upcoming in education and see where the problems are going to be for my kiddos that can't see, can't hear, can't read text out of a book, can't turn pages, things like that, so that I can make it more seamless for the kids in Indiana.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. We were just talking earlier about assistive technology, and a lot of school districts and a lot of educators think when we say assistive technology, they think of the actual hardware.
Right. And
they don't realize that it goes way beyond that. There's a lot more to that. So you're doing a session here.
Yes, I'm doing a session on digital portfolio's.
Okay.
Our kids who are graduating with whatever your state's going to call that non-diploma diploma thing,
right?
Have to have in the state of Indiana, some kind of a digital portfolio that shows off their work experience. That's and cool. Shows off, their education experience. So Google Sites has new Google Sites.
Yeah.
Old Google Sites just stymied me, but I love. I'm sorry, I gave it to a 20-year-old. She didn't get it either.
Yeah.
But the new Google Sites is really. It's adaptable. You can make it different enough. It's a little restricted as far as, the old Google Sites, but you can learn it in a minute.
Yeah.
And kids can have a lot of input regardless of their ability level.
Right.
So this is a great place where a student can chronicle their upper education years for somebody to look at as they get out of school. How do I learn? What was my grade point average? What classes did I take? What businesses did I participate in? Even down to if we do talk about the equipment for assistive technology, if they're bringing a piece with them, you can have a page where that device is all described and talked about and a link to how to use it, to troubleshoot it, because if they go with their voice on an iPad or an even more complicated something somebody hasn't seen, it's great to have that out and available.
Right, that is true. Yes. I think that it's great what Google's done for us for education and the cloud.
Yes.
And portfolios.
Yes.
You're right. At Google Sites, but but the ability to bring in all that stuff that our kids are saving in Google in Suites makes it really wonderful.
It is great.
And especially now that you're right, we've got kids leaving that are going directly into the job market, and we've got to provide for them the same way we've been providing for college-bound students all this time. And now an employer or someone has the ability to go out and go, wow, this is great, depending on what they choose to share.
Exactly. Oh,
this is what you've done. And even that, we have a lot of kids that graduate, they go directly into the job market. But then 3 or 4 years later, they realize, I think I want to go back to school.
Right.
But there's that portfolio that's still hanging out there that they can go back and modify and keep, and that's really awesome.
You have to have your own IEP when you go to college, for them. And a lot of that gets lost if you wait 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I love the feature where it is secure, because we're putting a lot of insecure, information that not everybody has to be able to search and find about you. So it has a function where it is not published into search engines. I don't know how they do it. You have to know the URL. So I've put all sorts of really unique things in there and never find it.
Oh, that's cool.
So sort of like Indiana Jones, where he puts that box up there. This is good.
Now the flip side of this, sometimes it's like at home when you put something somewhere so that you remember where it is, and then you can't remember where it is. So you never find it again, not on purpose.
I know.
I accidentally can't remember where I buried this thing.
Yeah, you may have to do a couple of things. Put it on the thumb drive that always gets lost.
Is that where you ask Alexa where you left your keys?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
If she only worked that way, right?
Right. She doesn't know that.
She does not know that. So, assistive tech, but so what else are you looking to get out of FETC since you? Is this your first time to FETC?
Second time.
Second time.
Second time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just all sorts of great ideas. I saw a presentation today on how to make professional development more interactive.
Cool.
You know, we preach all these methods for teaching kids, and then we all gather and listen to what's basically an email.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
you know, why are you sitting there? Why are you doing this? Make it, what am I getting out of this that I couldn't have gotten out of an email?
Right.
So that was very interesting. And then I tell some of these people, oh, you work for me, because they spend more of their time finding out the stuff that I want to look at. You know, oh, hello, I've been to your website many times. You work for me. Did you know that?
Yeah. I think in education, theft is the best form of flattery.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And we're all really nice about, hey, just take this. Here it is. Here's my site.
That's why
Right.
teachers never make money. We just keep giving it away.
Exactly. You need a pencil? I got a pencil.
So I bet in assistive tech, you love the exhibit floor, because this is like one of the only chances some of us get to see some of the stuff that we're going to see, because we won't see it anywhere else.
Exactly. Exactly. There's a big assistive technology conference right after this. But here I get to see, you know, it's not assistive technology. This is what's going to be given to all of our kids, hopefully, or might be given. So it's good to see that. This is what, you know, 90% of your teachers are going to be learning how to use.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so like to see this, like to see where the hang-ups are going to be, and see that there aren't going to be hang-ups. You got some really great presenters, in there. So.
Well, and that's, you know, one of the things that anytime the conversation of assistive technology comes up, I love that the conversation is, yes, we're talking about assistive technology, but the conversation is also shifting toward universal technology, you know, from AT to UT, where it doesn't matter what assistive technology you may or may not need. Here's this particular piece of equipment or this software or whatever it is, and anybody can use it. Yeah, you might have to enable or disable certain things in it, but you know, we all, and I'm just throwing this out there, I'm not condoning one over the other, but for the example, you know, if you have a bunch of iPads in a classroom, and in that classroom, that piece of technology can be ubiquitous, and yes, some students are going to have to turn on, you know, text to speech or speech to text or, you know, whichever, and maybe they have to use the larger print or whatever, but it doesn't matter in the scope of that classroom. You're all using the same thing, and it's very personalized. You know, if I have to use some of those features, no one else needs to know I'm using those features, so I don't stand out.
Right.
You know.
Well, and if you show those features to everybody, you'll find the people who have been hiding and really need some of them.
Exactly.
And so then it's just. A good friend of mine said once, if you want to know what's coming down the line in your technology, watch what's coming down the line in assistive technology.
Yeah.
You know, Chromebooks are doing the same thing.
Right.
We use Chromebooks 1-to-1, and we use GoGuardian, Impero. There's a bunch of them. And you talk about assistive just for in a universal setting, the ability to help direct students using something like that, like, great, I'll just take over and send you all to the same website or help you with the same. That's just beautiful. I mean, as I've been preaching for a while, technology has finally caught up with us.
Yes,
it's
doing the things we want.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and it's amazing to me. You know, I look at we have, well, I would imagine most people have, you know, some kind of standardized testing, right? So in Arkansas, we've got standardized testing, and if you fit in certain categories, then you get certain features that are able to be turned on. And it's amazing to me. I've heard other students who don't need the technology. They're like, man, can I use that? Can I have that? You know, and it's not even to cheat. It's the it's the assistant. I mean, it's the assist. They would like the assist of, you know. And sometimes it's kind of like it's the single line reader. You know, I would love to be able to, you know,
just that one line.
I don't need. You know, I don't necessarily need that, but I would love to be able to have that just so I can focus on this one line.
Yeah.
Even though it's not prescribed for me.
Exactly.
You know,
we talk about auditory reading, which is reading with your ears, basically. And go back to the old thing. If you were in a book club and you drive 50, 70 miles to work every day and you listen to that book, you know, while you're driving, are you kicked out of the book club?
Right.
Did you cheat?
Right. Is that?
I bet you still get a glass of wine.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things I really infuriate several of my colleagues and folks that I know, because I tell them I'm not a reader. I don't like to read. Now, I will listen to audiobooks all day long. Because of that same thing you just talked about. I have a commute, I'm in the car, I can do other things while I'm listening. I just prefer that over reading. And am I kicked out of the club now because I'm listening instead of reading? It's the exact same words.
It is. You're just processing them with a different organ then.
Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
So
That's awesome.
if anyone wants to reach out and get in touch with you that are our listeners, maybe want to pick your brain, what's the best way? Twitter?
I try Twitter. I try hard. I try hard. It's not my first method. But you can reach me at #Patins, P-A-T-I-N-S, Sandi.
Okay.
For Twitter. And then I'm also on Facebook, and that's Sandi Smith.
Okay.
Cool.
And just look for Patins and Sandi Smith.
Cool.
And just all over the place.
Awesome.
Very cool.
We'll tell everybody to go, and we're going to tweet out all your info too.
You've been listening to a recorded conversation from EduTech Guys live coverage of FETC 2018. For more information about EduTech Guys, visit edutechguys.com. And thanks for listening.